Episode 76. Starting right now, guys. I believe that's the episode number. It's kind of crazy to think that for a year and a half, basically, I have sat on this couch and I have delivered 45 minutes of words coming out of my mouth. Have they been good and interesting? Who's to say? You guys, actually, are to say. You guys can be the judges of that, but pretty crazy to think that, it's not that crazy, but it is kind of cool to like commit to something and put out an episode every week. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. Just the act of doing that, the routine of completing it feels like something, I guess. Are a ton of people listening and watching? Absolutely. Of course. So many people. That's what you do with comedy shows. You just lie. When people ask me, do you get a lot of podcast listeners? I go, yeah, dude, so many. Do you think I would be putting in this time and effort for a small audience? No. I don't know if you guys can hear. Obviously, that's all jokes. I'm joking around, guys. This podcast is, I got a couple listeners, and I appreciate every one of you guys looking to grow it little by little, and it will, guys. I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to keep doing comedy. I'm going to keep getting listeners who want to follow the, just the trajectory of what I'm doing, I guess, and it's fun. Appreciate you guys being here for another episode. I'm distracted. I don't know if you see me. If you're watching the video, I'm looking over. The apartment upstairs has had, I don't know if it's maintenance team, whatever it is. It's either the maintenance team or like painters or whoever it is to basically turn the apartment to make it ready for the next person because the person above me has moved out. I think they were evicted. I'm almost certain they were evicted. I talked about it in a past episode where there's a domestic violence instance and the cops came and I think the guy had a warrant for his arrest, but I think he was like still living there for a while and the cops would come look for him. But I don't know if they had a, what do you call it? Permission to enter. What do you call it? Had a, I forget the word. Is it called a warrant? Whatever permission you have to get from it, whatever the word is where you have to get permission from a judge to let you in. My brain is not functioning per usual, guys, but all that said, I guess he was evicted or moved out, and the apartment must be absolutely trashed. Like, I said it before, and in the height of when the guy was living there with his girlfriend, wife, partner, I don't know what it was, but they almost certainly were doing illegal substances. They were up at all times, all times of the day, sporadically shuffling around, scurrying around on little missions to whatever they were doing. And I'm pretty sure they trashed the apartment because they've been working on it for the past like week and a half, which is, I don't know how much you know about apartments. You don't have to know a bunch about apartments. When you move out, what typically happens is the apartment team comes in. Usually they do a couple things. They paint. Okay, so they have somebody paint. This apartment is like under 1,000 square feet. That's like something that you can easily do in a day. I hope you cannot hear. They are banging on stuff like it's Drumline the movie, okay? Like it's halftime and the marching band is on the field. Just hammering away up there. We'll see if I can edit it out. If not, all you guys will, listen to the first 90 seconds of this podcast and then leave a comment and go, couldn't deal with it. Couldn't listen any longer. But typically what happens with an apartment, like I said, Painting team comes in, usually takes care of that within a day. Like if you don't clean the apartment well, they'll have people come in and clean the apartment also. But that only happens. I mean, if that happens, which that happens plenty. The oven, the microwave, like some of the general stuff. Again, that's like a very basic thing that's done within a day. The way that they are, it sounds like they are building a third floor to this apartment. It sounds like they are putting a new room addition on. It's like construction tools. So in my head, which I don't know what's going on, but in my imagination, I'm like, okay, did the last person living there, this illegal substance drug user, did he rip all the cabinets off? Did he punch 50 holes in the wall? What is going on that you would need to do this much hammer banging and construction, like power tools noise? Also, they're playing music very loud and a little disrespectful. Okay? Look, I know I'm being half sarcastic, but it is. I work from home. Okay? It is obnoxious. You're like, yo, dude, you guys are like with the apartment complex, and I get it. You're banging around to like fix whatever's up there. I get it. That is what it is. But to like blare music too, it's like have a little respect. Okay? Have a little respect for Ben sitting on his computer, home alone. Ugh. I wonder if you guys can hear the banging because it's loud. Anyways, that's what's going on above me. That's fine. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm not upset, guys. I'm not irritated. I feel good. Okay, it's summer. I will say I've noticed that my irritation level has been at a higher level at a higher level than usual. I haven't slept all that well the last month and a half. It's been busy, just life and just comedy and all of the above. It's been busy, getting less sleep, and I know this is what it is because I'm eating healthy, I'm exercising. The sleep is the only thing missing, and I'm getting more irritable. I'm getting more frustrated, and I know it's because of sleep. And you know what? I got to figure that out, and I will figure it out. But part of the reason that I've been waking up or not sleeping as long is because I got a membership to Orange Theory. I forgot to talk. Every podcast, the last couple of weeks, I'm like, talk about Orange Theory. That's something new in your life, and I have forgotten to do it. But I got a membership with Orange Theory. Delina is a member there, and she said you should join. We can go work out together. So we've been doing that. I've gone to about, I don't know. I've had a membership for 2 or 3 weeks. I got the membership where it's like you get 8 classes a month. It's a pretty pricey thing. It was like $120. So like every class is whatever the math comes out to, $15 or so. And that's not cheap, but I canceled my Athletic Greens subscription to make some room for the hundo, and I transferred health from vitamins and minerals to a fitness class. And I will say it's been I don't know that I've ever really done consistently classes. I've consistently like run and worked out in the past, mostly running in the past maybe 4 or 5 years. But this is a combination of treadmill, row, and then they have like floor stuff, which is it's a lot of movements, core, some weights. I mean, they mix it up every time, and it's nice. We've been going about 6:15 in the morning, and that is early. But also, you get there, and what they do is they have this pre-planned workout, okay, and they have a coach, a person with a microphone that like gives you all the instructions and yells it out and gives you an idea of what to do. And everybody wears heart monitors. So you have like a heart monitor, and everybody shows up on this big screen, this big TV screen. So you can see everybody's heart monitor, which is cool, but it's also funny because you're like, okay, we see who is out of shape right there. Sandy, you are huffing and puffing. Get that heart rate down. Which, by the way, first time I did a class, I was very, very high heart rate. I think I had too much coffee or something, but I was not doing okay. But basically, the whole orange theory thing is they want you to stay in the orange range for like a decent amount during the workout. That's apparently supposed to be like good for the best workout, I guess, based off of their research and theories. And so what it is like as your heart rate rises, green is kind of like, it goes from gray, which is almost like resting heart rate, to green, which is like the next level up, then blue, which is kind of middle range, then orange, which is like a higher range, then red is like you're maxing out. And basically you get a breakdown after the workout of like where you sit in all those ranges, and you kind of want it to be like a triangle, I think. You want it to be like a little bit of green, a little bit more blue, the most orange, or maybe it's maybe it's like a decent amount of green, pretty solid amount of blue, and then a little less orange, and then almost no red. I don't know. Look it up, guys. They actually, that's what I think I was told. But anyways, they give you the instructions. They tell you what you're doing. Usually start on the treadmill, do some stuff there. We'll hop to the rowers, and then kind of do blocks of stuff. And they mix it up so it keeps it interesting. It's not just like, hey, run for 20 minutes on the treadmill. It's very much like organized into specific stuff. Like, all right, you're going to do a 5-minute warm-up, and then you're going to go all out for a quarter mile, and then you're going to hop on the rower, and then you come back to the treadmill, go all out for another quarter mile. And they have these very nice treadmills that are like apparently $8,000 a piece. So you're setting the incline higher and lower. You're doing all this stuff to mix the workout up. And they play like techno music almost, or it's like, it's not always techno music. I guess they mix it up, but it's like a very like club type atmosphere. So that's kind of, I don't know. I like it. It keeps you going. Like you're just like, oh, okay, this is high intensity music. I don't know what I'm doing. If you're watching the video, it looks like I'm just fanning myself because I'm hot. But that's what my eardrums sound like or feel like when I'm on the treadmill, and it's just like, and I feel like I'm in Europe in an underground basement at some sort of rave, which I've never been to Europe and I've never been to a rave, but that's what I imagine it would be like. Because we all know European raves, lots of treadmills. That's what they say. They go, you take ecstasy and you hop on a treadmill. That's the European rave experience. But I've been doing that twice a week for the last couple of weeks, and it's been good. It's like a condensed 50-minute or hour-long workout where, I mean, it's just nonstop working out. There's like essentially no breaks. I mean, there's a couple like recovery for 20 or 30 seconds as you're going in between sets when you're doing like weight stuff. But on the treadmill, on the road, I mean, it's kind of nonstop. So you get in a really efficient workout in that time frame. And doing it before work, it feels good to get up, do the workout, and then like start work after just like an intense workout. Feels good. But because it's at 6:15, obviously getting up before that, it's early mornings, so it does feel good. But I have been very tired. Really starting to feel like I need to lean into naps more. But I digress. You guys get it. Life is busy, so been doing that. It's been a fun thing. I had a busy week this last week. It's just, man, it's all running together. I had my birthday last week, turned 36. I know you guys can't tell by this attempt at a mustache, this embarrassing little whatever you would call it above my lip. This is as good as it gets. this is as good as it gets, guys. I'm 36 years old, and this is where I'm at. And so went to Topgolf for my birthday with Delina and some friends. It was a good time. I don't know if you guys have been to Topgolf. It's similar to bowling, where like if you're going with one person, it's a little harder. It's not that it's not fun, but it's just harder to converse because it's kind of like one person is hitting and the other person is like watching, and it's kind of hard to talk while you're hitting because you're not right beside each other. You know, you're swinging this metal golf club, so you're like, all right, stay back a little bit, and then you hit, and then you switch, and then there's no real like, hey, because you have like a 2-hour window, and you don't want to just be like, well, we can hit, and then we can both just not hit for 45 minutes and talk. It's like, well, you feel the pressure to like keep hitting. So I think 6 people went on my birthday, which is a much better setup for whether it's bowling or Topgolf or whatever. You have the ability to casually rotate through and be able to chat with people. So that was fun. Enjoyed that. That was on Tuesday. Wednesday, went out and hung at a comedy show. Went to Ratio. Need to hang out more. I've said it before. I'm trying to get out to more open mics, and I'm trying to I need to support more shows. I feel very lucky. I'm connected with, whether it's directly like hosting shows or just knowing a lot of people now that run shows. It's like, just go hang out at shows. You don't have to, like, if I don't have a new joke, I should go hang at a show, just show face, hang with some friends. If there's a guest spot available, that's awesome. If not, that's fine too. It's not, I don't necessarily need to get stage time every night. Going and supporting and hanging out is a good way to be in the community and hang out with friends and support your friends as well. So did that on Wednesday, which was fun. I'm trying to think. I feel like I had something else to talk about, but I keep getting distracted by the banging above me. Which I guess the Olympics is happening. You guys watching the Olympics? I've got the TV muted at the moment. It's not playing, but it's on Peacock, and it's showing the options for the Olympics that you can watch. I've been watching a little bit of swimming. I'm not obsessed with the Olympics. I feel like the Olympics feels like one of those things. It's obviously very big, but also it feels like maybe a lot of people don't care about it. So it's kind of one of those confusing, like, it's obviously a huge thing, but are a lot of people tuning in? Or is it kind of this hyped up thing, like, that traditionally has been a massive event to watch and to talk about and to have, what's the word? To feel pride for your nation and the athletes competing. But it feels like, I don't know, it's on Peacock. A lot of people don't have Peacock. I don't know. Are people, I guess they're probably streaming it on NBC. If you don't have Peacock, I guess you can watch it on cable. But I have always enjoyed watching the swimming and the track and field, which I think are probably two of the bigger Olympic sports anyways. I guess a lot of the newer sports, maybe a lot of people are tuning into. Basketball, I guess, has been around for a while. I don't know. I guess people watch that. I think soccer's newer. Maybe a lot of people are watching that. Golf is newer. But there's just so many sports now. They got skateboarding. They got so much stuff. I don't really care too much about that. I am more interested in swimming and track and field. I used to swim, so this is kind of the only time that swimming is relevant ever. People are not tuning in to just some random swim meet outside of the Olympics. It's kind of just the Olympics is the time to tune in. And I've kind of followed enough some of the big stars like Caleb Dressel and some of the other names over the years to have, I guess, a little bit more of an attachment to swimming than maybe some people. But track and field, I never really, I mean, I guess I did track in 8th and ninth grade. I was terrible. I pole vaulted, was terrible at pole vault. Uh, but I like watching the 100-meter. Well, I guess I like all of it, but the main races I like are the 100-meter, the 200, the 400, I guess the 800 I'm just naming off every event. Most of them are interesting. Though I guess it's maybe easier to say the ones that I don't care about. I don't care about the hurdles. I don't care about the steeplechase, which is like a longer distance kind of hurdle type race where you jump over that thing into the water and you're like, what is this race? Just how fast are you? Why are you putting puddles in the way? I don't care too much about shot put or the hammer thing or the javelin. High jump and long jump are cool. Triple jump. Don't care as much about the marathon and half marathon if they have that. Don't even care that much about the 5K. I like the 1500. There's a Jakob Ingebrigtsen who's from Norway, I think, somewhere up in that area. He's very fast. He's a up and coming over the last like 4 years or so phenom or whatever you call. Just this incredible athlete who's maybe 22 or 23 now, but broke onto the stage as a teenager, onto the international stage as a teenager. Has been cool to see that. Anyways, back to talking about track. I did track a couple seasons as a pole vaulter, which is actually hilarious because I did not qualify. The only thing that I qualified for track was pole vault. Okay, so they had tryouts. And all of you had to meet a certain standard in at least one event to make the team. Which is kind of, looking back, I don't know, maybe that's the norm for track and field. Obviously, like making the team and having cuts on the team is common when you're talking about a lot of sports. A lot of team sports like soccer, football, probably, baseball. But when you're talking about, I did cross country as well. There was no like standard that you had to meet. You didn't have to run a 5K in X amount of minutes in order to make the team. It was just like, hey, do you want to run? You can be on the team. Now they had, like the top varsity people. And so there was like the varsity side of things, but I think anybody could run. And I don't know if it was a different race from varsity. I don't know. I'm going into deep depths of things that I don't fully remember, and I'm probably just confusing everybody. But with track, I'm surprised thinking back at it that they had like tryouts rather than like, hey, everybody can be on the team. And you know what? Maybe you don't get to run in some meets. Maybe you sit the bench, but you can at least practice and be on the team. But I don't think that was the case. I remember specifically trying out for the 400-yard dash, 400 meters. 400 meters, not yards. And you had to run at least a minute 5 to make the team. Which, dude, that's so fast. That's actually very fast. I did not make it. I ran 1 minute and 7 seconds. I missed it by 2 seconds. I don't think I could come close to running 107 now. And I was like 4'10" when I tried out. Like I was the smallest person ever. But I remember doing a couple events, not making it. So I tried pole vault. And in order to make the team, you had to pole vault over an 8-foot height. But here's the deal, guys. They didn't have a pole. Like if you're not familiar with pole vault, it's where you hold this big pole, you run down this little runway, and then you stick that pole into like a little crevice, a little whatever you call it. And if you're good, the good people do it. They hold it, and then the pole bends and kind of slingshots you up and over this horizontal pole. I'm saying pole way too many times, but hopefully you know what pole vault is. And for tryouts, they didn't have the horizontal pole up there that you had to leap over, that you had to take your pole and go over. What they had was like a rubber band type material that was at 8 feet on the sides, and because it was like a rubber band, it just sagged in the middle. So it was probably like 7 feet that I had to go over. And also, it was tied to each side, so there was no chance of it falling over. So you literally just had to like get part of your body over and then just push that rubber band down, and you're like, I made the team. So that's how I made the team. And I just remember every day at practice, people are running, people are doing sprints, people are doing stretches. I did none of that. Okay, pole vault, you literally just went to the pole vault area, and I was 100 pounds. They didn't even have a pole that was rated for me, okay? And what I mean by that is, like, these poles are bending. So they have, like, certain ratings on them. So based on your body weight, you wanted to have a pole that was rated at your body weight, so it, like, bent and flexed appropriately. You know, if you're too heavy for a smaller pole, you could break it. If you're too light and the pole is rated for a heavier weight, then it's too stiff. You're probably not going to be able to bend it. Well, I was literally like 100 pounds, and I'm pretty sure the smallest weight they had, weight rating they had for a pole was like 140 pounds. So I wasn't bending it at all. I was just going up and just straight pole vault, getting no height at all. And I sat the bench. I don't even know why I was on the track team. I think they put me in some events, in some meets. So I probably did. I do remember doing the 200-yard dash. I probably did the mile, 800. I don't know. I'm sure I did some stuff. But I remember doing pole vault. I think one time they put me in an invitational. It was like a big multi-team event. And oh gosh, dude. They started out. Like they don't start the pole vault at like 4 feet. There's like a minimum starting point where it's like everybody starts at this height, and you have to clear it in order to move up. And I think it was 8.5 or 9 feet. And I did not make any of the jumps. I just hit the pole every time it fell off. And so in my high school career, as a quote-unquote pole vaulter, I not one time did I clear the pole in a meet and register some sort of height on my record. There was no, like, Ben Dailey jumped this high in pole vault during high school. It was like, no, Ben got one chance at it. He scratched, and we never put him in the lineup again. So that's good memories. Good memories that I tried my hardest out there. That's all you could do at that point. But track, you know, I cared a little bit about cross country. I tried for a year or two. Track was, I didn't really apply myself all that much. I wasn't that fast anyways. I was never good at that point at the sprinting stuff, but I could have trained and been okay probably at the mile or 2 mile. Wouldn't have been great. I still wouldn't have been standout for any of it. I think as I got older, I would have been much better at it. But as a human being that was about 4'10", 100 pounds, you can only move those legs fast. There's a limit to the speed your legs can go. So I don't think I was, I don't know. I probably could have trained for the mile and like put a lot of effort in and run a low 5-minute mile, which is pretty good, but also like pretty good compared to now for me. But when you're talking about like people who are dedicating themselves to track in high school, a 5:20 mile is not incredible. Anyways, I'm rambling quite a bit. Let's talk about what else happened this week. Had hosted a bunch of shows. I'm trying to think if Tuesday was my birthday. Wednesday I went and watched a show. Thursday, Friday, Saturday hosted shows. Thursday hosted a show in Littleton, a monthly show with rotating tap comedy that is at Coal Mine Ave Brewing. It's a fun spot. I mean, it's an interesting setup. I've talked about it before. It's a brewery, and it's kind of like where you do the comedy from. The room kind of splits to the left and splits to the right, and directly ahead of you is like where the brewing barrels are, which is kind of an interesting setup. And during the summer, it's bright out, and it's a free show, so some people maybe aren't there for the comedy. But I will say this time, not a ton of people, but maybe 10 to 12 people were there to watch comedy, were very attentive, and I had fun with it. It was good. It's a good opportunity to try some new jokes out and to, work on some new stuff and work on being present in the moment, whether the crowd is on board or not. Just being professional and getting better at that. So I felt good. I did some new jokes in there. I'm working on some new jokes. They're not incredible, but just trying to, do my due diligence to work through them, to get them into something. And what happens, I've said this before, what happens a lot of times is you do your best to build out a joke, and guess what? It ain't good enough. But guess what, too? You do the work to get something. And then you have that in your whatever notebook or your Word document or your Google Docs or wherever you keep it. And then maybe 6 months from now, you look back on that, you pull that up and you go, oh, let me try to approach that again. And that's what comedy is. It's a lot of failed attempts where you just try your best and then you pocket that thing, you put a joke on the back burner, and then a year later, you look back and you go, oh, let me try that one again. Let me try to add some stuff, subtract some stuff, add it to a new bit that where the topics are similar, and it's like a puzzle. You guys like puzzles? That's what it is. But that's what I've been working on, some new stuff, but also I've recently started going through old notebooks to try to look into or look through old material, see if I can find some little nuggets of stuff. So I've started organizing that. I mean, I probably have, I don't know, at least 10 notebooks, like 10 full normal size notebooks that are filled out with just joke ideas and premises, and some have some punchlines. A lot of them don't have anything, but I'm going through and I'm collecting anything that has a tidbit, at least a tidbit of something that might be funny. I've created a Google document where I'm writing just all that stuff down. So I'm collecting all these ideas into one place, slowly but surely going through all these notebooks, and trying to just find some old stuff that I can start working on and maybe approach from a different angle, or just apply it or try to use it now with the increased skill set I have versus some of these jokes we're talking about going back to 2019, 2020, 2021, like in the very beginning of doing comedy. So that's good. It's good to go through the old stuff. I'm finding little things here and there, so I'm hoping to have, just honestly hoping to have a bunch of ideas that I can draw from. Because going to open mics, I want to go to more open mics now, but also if you go through periods where you're like, I don't have a great idea or a great premise, then it's like, I don't want to go to an open mic and do old material. But also, I don't want to go to an open mic and do no material. So just trying to compile a bunch of stuff to have ideas to take to the stage to try to work out. And also, if you're creatively in a rut, which I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm creatively in a rut. I think I haven't been able to write as much in the last month or two because it's just been very busy this summer. So I haven't been able to put pen to paper as much as I would like to. But whether it's that or whether it's you're going through a creative rut, I think it's good to switch things up, and maybe you're not feeling like you're writing funny stuff. It's like, all right, well, let's just go do a different thing, which doesn't feel as creative because you're not like technically creating, but you're going through old things that you've written and that you've created to then find inspiration out of those. So I've been doing that, and excited to kind of compile a bunch of stuff there. And yeah, that's all I have for that. That's what I've been doing. But I did some of that new stuff on Thursday. And then Friday did a Don't Tell show. Hosted a Don't Tell show at a wine bar. I've hosted maybe 5 or 6 shows at this location. It's a very fun spot. It was very hot. It's like in the back of a wine bar, kind of in the wine making slash storage area, big warehouse space. And man, it was hot. I was afraid that a bunch of people were going to complain. Fortunately, people did not. I don't know how. I was really sweaty and hot. But nobody complained, which is good. It was a fun show. Good show. Had a good time. Nothing really. I tried a bunch of new stuff in there, which is always, with Don't Tell shows and some of the better shows when you got a bigger crowd, can be a little more intimidating, but also you gotta get some new stuff in there. You gotta work some new stuff out. So I felt good about it. Show was good. Comics were very funny. A couple out of town comics were on the lineup. It was nice to meet them. Then also hosted on Saturday, which before we get to the show on Saturday, we also did, just like I said, been very busy. Did a pickleball tournament before the show. So Saturday morning from about 11 to 2, did a pickleball tournament with a bunch of other comics. Very, what's the word? Deb Listowka is a comic. She organized the whole thing. It was a pretty big undertaking. I mean, she got Illegal Pete's to sponsor it, had food there. It was probably, I don't know, if I had to guess, maybe 15 teams. And it was like a single elimination thing. I played with Dailey. We played against 2 other comics. We lost game 1. We got eliminated. But that's okay. It was fun. And neither of us, Dailey hasn't played pickleball before. I'd only played it a couple times. And honestly, just playing and then getting to eat some Illegal Pete's, which is like local Chipotle, essentially. And there was like an open court that you could play on after losing. It was just open for the losers, I guess. So got to whack the ball around a little bit. It was fun either way. Good seeing people and friends and buddies, especially outside of the comedy community, or people within the comedy community. It's good to hang out with them in context, in situations outside of comedy. Just to, because we're all talking about comedy all the time, which is great. Love it. But it's also cool to just be like, hey, we're being just normal people for a second. Normal-ish. So that was a lot of fun. Did that. Then had another Don't Tell show I hosted on Saturday night at a fitness center, a fitness facility. And it was a lot of fun. It wasn't super lightly attended. It was about 35 to 40 people, which is a little lower than usual for Don't Tell shows. But in the summer, we've been getting some of those. Either way, you just put out 40 seats. Everybody fills that out. It's not a huge room. I mean, max capacity is probably 75, 80. So it's not like it's this massive room where not a ton of people are in there. But it was a fun group of people. Fun show. Had a good time. It was interesting. A lot of people were very late. This fitness business was right across. It's like downtown. It's right across the street from a music venue, and the music venue had Bone Thugs and Harmony there. Which, if you're not familiar, they're like a very popular rap group that has been around forever, for a long time. Like I remember in college in 2006, they would play um some song with Tupac in there. I don't know if I don't think Tupac was part of it. I'm not even going to go into, cuz I'm going to just look stupid if you're familiar with Bone Thugs. But I'm pretty sure in 2006 when they were playing that song, it was like a very old song to be played at that point. So I think it was like a 90s song. Anyways, they've been out for a while. I was surprised to see them there. I figured maybe they'd be like a bigger band than the venue that they were at, even though that venue is probably holds like 1,000 or something. It's not a small venue. But all that said, it made traffic and parking really bad. So people were really late. But also people were coming in. It was an interesting group of people. Some people were late just because parking. Some people were wasted, which that happens sometimes, but it felt like a lot more higher percentage for this one. Some people, there was one girl who came in and she literally goes, "Hey, is this the comedy show?" And I said, "Yes," because I check in the people as well as host. But she goes, "Yeah, I just went into the concert." And I was like, "Oh," I was like confused. I was like, "Oh, do you have tickets for the concert and the comedy show that are happening at the very same time? That's stupid." But she's like, "I went into the concert. I thought the comedy show was in there." And she goes, "Yeah, I got a wristband." I was like, Did you pay money to go into the concert to check to see if there's a comedy show like behind the concert, just to find out that no, that's not the correct address for the comedy show, and to come over and then just be like, "Hey, I accidentally paid for Bone Thugs and Harmony." Also, back to me talking about being tired. I feel like my brain has not been functioning well either, which I talk about this I just feel stupid most of the time. But I did a 10-minute announcement before the show started. I said, "Hey, everybody, just 10-minute warning. We're going to start in about 10 minutes. Still waiting on checking a bunch of people in." And then I went to say, like, parking's, pretty bad. Some people are running a little bit late I went to say because of the concert with Bone Thugs and Harmony. And my brain said, because of the Bug-N-Thones Harmony. And then I said, "Nope, my brain goes, nope, that's not right. Say it again right." And then I just said the same thing. I said, sorry, the Bug-N-Thones Harmony. And then I'm not kidding. I said it like 4 more times, and my brain could not say it correctly. I just kept saying Bug-N-Thones. Bug-N-Thones. And I felt dumb. I felt real dumb. And people were like, "Yeah, you are dumb." They felt it too. But that show was very fun. Some people came in very late. Like the show started at 8. I mean, there was people that came in like 8:30, 8:40. One guy came in at 8:40. He was very drunk. I mean, the show was halfway over. And he goes, "Hey, I'm here for the or he walked in and I said, "Are you here for the comedy show?" He goes, "No, I'm here for the artists making other people laugh." And I was like, "Okay, so you're here for the comedy show. Very cool." And so I went to check him in. I checked him in, and then he goes, Who are the artists that set this show up?" And I was confused. I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Who set the show up?" I was like, Don't tell. Don't tell." And he was like, "What? Who set it up?" And I said, "Don't tell." And we did this back and forth where I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, don't tell. You showed me your ticket that you purchased from Don't Tell Comedy for a Don't Tell Comedy show, and you're confused that I'm telling you this is a Don't Tell Comedy show." I was like, it's one of those things where you're like, you know what? It's not worth it. You just go, "Hey, man, have a good time. There's seats in there. I don't feel like talking to you anymore." Fortunately, nobody heckled real bad. There's a couple of people that every time there's people that are really drunk before the show starts, which he came in like halfway through, but some people come in before the show a little liquored up, and it's like, oh gosh, are they going to be a problem during the show? Fortunately, no problem. Don't Tell crowd is usually very good about not heckling and not being bad. But it was a fun show. Had one of the comics asked me to bring him up So as the host, I go do a set up top, and then I go in between each comic to say, hey, keep it going for so-and-so. We've got a couple comics left. Everybody, this next comic, you've seen them here. You've seen them there. They headline all over, blah, blah, blah. Everyone clap your hands for XYZ, your next comic. That's kind of my hosting duties. And so one comic, I asked him, I said, how do you want me to bring you up? Because some people want, like, hey, tell them this or that. I have a podcast. I have these credits. I have an Instagram, whatever they want you to say. And he goes, I want you to bring me up by beatboxing. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to do that. But then I was like, you know what? I'll do it. I don't care. I'll just commit and be silly. And I went up there and I did a beatbox. I got everybody to clap. Well, first off, I warned him. I go, look, this next comic, he headlines all across the country. You've seen him here. He's got this album, blah, blah, blah. And also, he specifically asked me to bring him up to beatboxing. And you guys might be wondering, Ben, you beatbox? And no, I do not. I've never beatboxed. But I'm going to do it because he asked. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to clap my hands. And I want you guys to clap with me. And I did that. And it was good. It was fine. That's the whole thing with hosting. You just want to be just a positive, goofy, silly energy. And that's all you can do. And the crowd, they want to be on board with it. And they were. So it was fun. And then get this, the next day, with Don't Tell shows, they send everybody that went to the show, the day after the show, everybody that went to the show gets an email that has a list of all the comics' Instagrams, which is cool, because then people can follow you on Instagram if they liked you. But also, it has our Venmo, so people can tip you. Now, I've done dozens. At this point, I've probably done, I don't know, more than 50 Don't Tell shows maybe, hosted them, and I've never gotten a tip. But yesterday, which was Sunday, which was the day after Saturday, which was the day of the show of the Don't Tell that I'm talking about right now, I got a $15 tip from a gentleman. And he said, great job hosting. You did a great job, or something like that. And I was confused at first because I forgot that Don't Tell has the Venmos there. So I see this name and it was like, great job hosting. And I was like, I didn't host your show. I was like, what? Who is this? But that was pretty cool. It was cool to be like, all right, I did a silly, different thing. And I guess I got the attention of some dude who liked it. So cool. Maybe I'll do that more. But yeah, that was a fun Saturday night. Sunday, went golfing, did a little par 3 course with the boys, and then had a volleyball game afterwards where we lost. We are now 1-1. Our record is 1-1. We won our first game via forfeit. Nobody on the other team showed up, so that was a pretty easy W. But this time we played an actual team, and it's best 2 out of 3 sets to 21. We lost the first 2. It was close though. It felt good to get out there. I think we're building a little team chemistry and understanding how to communicate and play together. So looking forward to the Sunday volleyball league is very fun. Looking forward to that moving forward. But I'm a little bit over my usual time here, not by too much. I like giving some extra content for you guys here. If anybody is still listening, it's a miracle. But if you are, thank you so much. But I'm gonna grab some lunch and drink some water and go back to work. This is my lunch break, so I'm gonna end the podcast here. But thank you guys for listening. Appreciate you guys tuning in as always. And keep an eye out for dates if you're in Denver. I've got a bunch of Don't Tells coming up. I got a bunch of shows coming up. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at Ben Dailey Comedy. Keep an eye on my link tree. Shoot me a message. Let me know. If you're in the area and you want to see a show, let me know. Free tickets. That's what people say that are like actually popular. Like, I'll let you get in for free. It's like, yeah, dude, I'll let you get in for free to most of the shows that I'm doing that are free already. But yeah, let me know. Let me know if you want to come to the show. Would love to see you. Would love to catch up. Anyways, I'm going to end the episode there. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will see you guys again next week.